Hello. I just want to come on here and talk about people and, their positions in life or their parts in life. Um, I found it really interesting that I wondered how I damaged people. Like how could I go from being this kind, sweet thing, to like annihilating people? The thing is that I remember, say my husband, I'm going to talk about my husband. And as I said to you, look, I really am. This is not about trying to make him be at fault. It's just not. I mean, I finally take responsibility for how I got to places too. You know what I mean? Yes, someone could have treated you unkindly at the time, whatever it is. But I chose my life. Even if you don't choose your life by not, sometimes you choose your life by not choosing. You let other people choose for you, which lets you go down a path that you go, I don't like this path. But you go down it anyway because you feel you're out of control. You have no control because you're just weak. And I don't mean that in a bad way either. Just know that when you're mincing around things and you can't say no to people, know that you're in trouble in life. Know that that's actually something you really need to work on. Because if you don't work on that, you're going to spend your whole life people-pleasing. Or not even knowing anything about yourself. But anyway, I was just going to talk about, I remember being, being a teenager, as I said, not knowing really about myself, not knowing how to manage life. So I just went along with it. I say I fell into things. No, as I said, we don't fall into things. We just don't choose. So we as I said, we fall into things. Anyway, so I met my husband, and when I was about 20, my ex-husband. And the thing is that I want to talk about how could I have annihilated. At the start, everybody could blame him, and go, oh, he's a control freak, he's this, he's that. He's not kind to her. He doesn't look after the family. He doesn't, didn't want to buy a house. Didn't want to do a lot of things. I'm not going to go too far into that. But the point is, he didn't want to do a lot of things to make, I don't own my own home now. I could have bought it later on in life, but I didn't. As I said, can't blame him. But I didn't buy a house when I was younger when I wanted to. But anyway, I want to talk about the fact of how I became the monster, I suppose. I went from, you go at people, you nurture and nurture and nurture, and you believe in them. This is probably a warning to guys too, actually. You nurture and nurture and this is going to sound horrible. I hate saying this word, but people, women can polish a turd. It's really horrible. You give us something, we will fix it. And because we're waiting for that person that we met, the person that, when you first meet me, you meet my representative. So we're waiting for that person to come back. Then we probably have a baby, or we get married, or we just choose this person. And we're waiting for them to come back. Once we realise they're not coming back, that person that we once put up with so much, we turn on them. We stop talking to them. We stop caring about them. We stop caring we just stop caring. And we go quiet. And all of a sudden, they turn around and their ears prick up, and you go, when you're saying, look, I'm leaving, and their ears prick up and they start trying. Only time they really start trying is when you're leaving. And that's when they realise when you do leave, they realise they cared about you, maybe. Or maybe it's because you left. I'm that part, not going down too far, what they think and what they did, they just didn't care when you're there. And then they're just so amazed that after all that crap, and they don't think it's crap at the time, but they're just so selfish, just running your life, when all you wanted someone to do was to marry and then to, love them forever and do things for them. But when they're so far into your life and controlling, it's like, oh gosh. But so now this is the part I'm going to talk to you about. After I realised, like, you try. My behaviour would always be, this is the thing, I would look worse than he ever was, because he would become structured when we were breaking up, and he'd become like the dad of the year type thing, and I would become the mental case, because it was like a woman that had, postnatal depression and just went crazy, because every time I did break up with him, it was about 2 years after a baby, or with my last son, it might have been quicker than that, because I had warned him a year and a half before that we were going to divorce if he, didn't, give certain care to me. But he didn't believe that I'd ever leave. He just think I'd come back like last time. But what I want to say is, I'm talking about this. Why did when I left him, you see women doing it, and some women leave a husband and they're so functional and they're all together and they just go forward, do the right thing. Me, no. I would explode, going from being a mum at home, breastfeeding, the year before that, to having an explosion on him. And then I remember my last time we broke up before we were divorced, I remember looking at him and going, oh, I just don't care about you. Get away from me. And I don't think I actually thought I'm going to hurt you. I just was hating on him. Like, how could I get to this and now I hate you? I mean, I get over it. I normally don't hate people, but I felt hatred because it was many years of boil-ups of like, why couldn't you have you had a good family. Why couldn't you just have loved us and worked for us, bought a house with me, that kind of thing. The basic. So then, as I said, when I left, I exploded. I went, we see women, they divorce, they go out, they start going out with their friends on their, because, you have your days off now because your ex-husband's actually got them. So you start to go out, get dressed up, go to the club, go with your friends. And then for me, I started drinking too much and I became a monster. I really became a monster. I couldn't stop. I didn't drink every day, but when I had my days off, I would explode. And I would, and that lasted probably in and out for about 10 years. But I don't know actually what I'm trying to get at. It's more the fact I'm trying to get at, like, how do we turn him from innocent to the one that, truthfully, if you spoke to my ex-husband, he would have his own movie on me, because from his end, it looks like she did this to me at the end. It was at the end. And, but before that, I was just trying to be a mother and a wife, but just the norm. But it was such struggle town with him. And then when I did, I annihilated him. Like you wouldn't believe. Like when he said to me, please, can we just try again? I was like, I remember going, what, you kidding me? Like, you kidding me? And then I would crush like you wouldn't believe. So maybe what I'm trying to say out of all this is that you can become a monster too. And then you get down the track and you realise, Sharon, you didn't have to act like that. You could have actually been more structured. You could have made so many better decisions. So, okay, so this is probably, I just thought about it. So what I'm thinking is, when you women out there, when you divorce and you've had a real hard time with someone, be very, very careful you don't explode and you don't go out there and become the monster that he gets to point you out and go, look what she's doing, oh, she's always done that. No, you don't always do that, but that's for my part. No, I didn't always do that, but I gave enough ammunition for everybody to turn around and go like, oh, she is what he says, I mean, yeah. So, but before that, you could spend many years just trying to have a normal life. So as I said, I'm not trying to bash him or anything like that. It's more the fact of pointing that out, and really a warning to women and men. But the thing is that I'm really warning to women is that if you are in a bad relationship, please take that 2 years off after you, leave your husband. Take the 2 years off and just do not go out with anybody. Get to know yourself. Even get to know, just take that break away from, and do not chase, how, because you go, I want a family. Your family's in front of you. Your kids are in front of you. Don't go chasing a boyfriend. That's not going to be they'll love you and then they'll end up loving your children, but that's not how it goes. So don't go trying to chase a family when they're right in front of you because you think you need a husband, because you want a husband. You just left one hoping now you want one, then you're hoping the next one will be the one you wanted. So try to take some time off. And I had to forgive myself for being that monster at the end. I didn't have to become that. But they can actually, as I said to you, your circumstances, if you let yourself, can grow you into something that you're not. I was never meant to be that way. I was meant to be kind and loving and soft. And, I have half my mother's personality and half my father's. So I'm really loving and kind. And my dad's loving and kind. But I can also crush when I'm hurt. So as I said, all of you people out there, really just take it easy. If you break up, or if go get counselling. If you really need to fight for your marriage. But if you really are going out with a narcissist, not much you can do, I think, unless they do the work. Where I don't think they even realise half the time how horrible they're being to you. They can be wicked. So as I said, love yous all, and I hope you treat yourselves nicely and be kind to yourself.